who is at the airport, and he's got the very, very, very latest for us there, and he's inside the airport. Let's now try and see if we can talk to us and maybe bring us up to date as what's happening there. Do we have Tom? Tom, hi there. Well, tell us what's happening where you are at the moment. You showed us some shots and some people around you, but what is the very latest?
Yeah, hi there, Marina. I'm not sure what the connection's like here. My apologies if it's a bit dodgy. The signal down here on looks so great, but I'll just try and get a small sight of the press pack waiting for another, or perhaps even.
Well, I have to apologize for the quality of sound from Tom Barton that we are getting, but what he was saying that, I mean, there are a lot of people there at the moment, as we can see, Ivor, a lot of people there, everyone's waiting, suspense is building up, obviously. Well, right now on the screens, we can see Anatoly Kucherian, the lawyer that represents Snowden. Yes. Well, Ivor, you know, before we switched to Tom, we were discussing, you know, what's next for Edward Snowden, who's obviously still at the airport, hopefully. And specifically his, you know, sort of Russian stage, you know, that's about to start once he comes out of the airport. So talk us through how this happened and how, you know, he made this decision, what obviously led up to this. We were talking about this, but just bring us your viewers up to date.
Let's not forget that everybody knows the name Edward Snowden.
Of course.
Edward Snowden is a whistleblower.
Yeah.
And he's a very special category of human being. They take a very, very brave step to raise flags about institutions of which they are a part of and upon which they depend for their income, for their livelihoods. So there's a great deal of, I think, psychological isolation involved in any decision to blow whistles. And I think Snowden strikes me as being a very intelligent guy, and I think it's something that he probably may have read up on before even taking the step to expose the NSA's extraordinary web of surveillance across what we know as global social media. So I think Snowden's probably feeling a little bit isolated. I think right now he's looking at some light at the end of the tunnel in that he can get out of this.
Well, you know, while he's looking at the lights at the end of the tunnel, figuratively speaking, of course, I'm just getting some latest information there that he has submitted documents at an immigration checkpoint at this stage. So there's something happening as we speak. We cannot see right now for obvious reasons, but that means he'll finally be able to leave the transit zone of Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport, where he's believed to have been staying for more than a month now, ever since arriving from Hong Kong. Well, the lawyer that assists Snowden in his plea has arrived at the airport within the last hour. Well, we've seen the pictures of him. We know he's there. Now, whistleblower's formal asylum request could still take up to 3 months to process. Well, he then he'll get the asylum for a year and will be able to renew his stay annually. Well, the thing is, something is happening at the moment. There's some action going on. That's good. And Edward Snowden might be able to leave the airport anytime soon. Our correspondents are there waiting for him. While that is happening, let's now continue to talk about his fate and the options that are for him on the table. What do you think will be happening once he steps out of the airport?
That's a tough question to answer right now. I think we've listened to Anatoly Kucherian, who's over the last week or so, who's been the face of the Snowden camp, at least in Russia. He has briefed the press to the effect that he would certainly be making a statement to the press after his meeting with Snowden, which I guess is taking place right now in Terminal E. We're not sure whether Snowden's going to attend that. Personally, I doubt it. I doubt it very much. I dare say the guy is probably a little bit media shy at this stage, and I think he's walking on eggshells legally, internationally. I think he'll be very, very careful to try and stay out of the media limelight.
Well, while Snowden was at the airport and in limbo, as we were saying before, I mean, his case attracted huge international attention and media attention as well. Let's now focus on the U.S. and Russia relationship and how they were affected by Snowden's visit and his revelations.
Yeah, well, I think this...
Ivor, sorry, I have to interrupt you here because I'm hearing that we can now talk to our correspondent Lindsay France, who's outside of the airport, and she might tell us what's happening there at the moment. Hi there, Lindsay. So do update us what's going on where you are now.
Hey guys, yeah, it's been a long wait. It's been a very long day waiting for Edward Snowden to make an appearance. And just as the skies open up and people are going home for work, that's when the action really starts. His advisor made his way through the crowd just a couple of minutes ago, actually, up to 20 minutes ago, with a brown bag. It's reported that some fresh clothes and some fresh documents, meaning that he will be able to actually leave the airport finally and actually walk around in Russia and in Moscow and possibly call this new place his home. Now, he has been here for over a month, and it was reported that he didn't think it was safe to fly to any of the other countries that had offered him asylum out of fear that the U.S. would ground those flights, and that is when he turned to the Russian Federation and the Federal Migration Services to consider his temporary asylum bid. The police began making their presence known in a very, very heavy way about an hour and a half ago, blocking a certain door on the first floor of Terminal E here at the airport. I just went up to the Capsule Hotel in Terminal E earlier today to sniff something out, find out what I could, and I was turned away from that location. This door happens to be exactly 5 floors below that hotel. So it appears as if the journalists are waiting with bated breath as security keeps them away from that door, and that Edward Snowden will come out and finally make his appearance, possibly give us a statement. If not, at least his advisor, Anatoly Kucherena, who brought in that bag with the reported fresh clothes and fresh documents, will at least say something of what the plan is at this point. But one thing is for sure, that over the next 3 months, he plans to possibly look for work and to hopefully make Russia his home. Now, it's also important to note that his advisors have said that whether or not at the end of those 3 months the decision is favorable or not, whether or not he is allowed temporary asylum for the next year or not, there are plans in place. If he is allowed to stay here for the next year, he will look for work and look to settle here. And if not, that decision will be appealed. And that just points to how serious he actually is in this case. So again, we are here all waiting and watching that door very closely, and will of course be tweeting and bringing you the latest when the next big thing happens.
All right, Lindsay, thank you so much. Our fingers are firmly on the pulse. As you said, we are watching that door very, very closely. Lindsay France there outside of the airport, and earlier Tom Barton, who's inside of the airport. Well,